Good morning and welcome to school. It is a Wednesday. Click the YouTube button below to make this video bigger. All right, Bobby, take it away. Woo! Do it again. One more time, Bobby. Get that air. Yes, I love it. Thank you so much, Bobby, for submitting that video. I should say thank you to your mother. She was very thoughtful in sending that. All right, so I love it. I love to see you out there. And I also am missing you guys a lot. And it's making me think back to all the fun times that we had together today. So don't mind the fingernails in the background. Oh, wait, you can't focus? All right, fine. The fingernails are there because today's lesson is to keep those nails trimmed. Dirt and bacteria live underneath nails, especially longer nails. All right, that's how you can spread germs and diseases. Use clippers, trim them up every week. Dispose of the nail clippings in a trash can. Don't flick them at your brother, all right, or leave them on the floor. That's gross. Picking your nails is a dirty habit. All right, true story. I personally have struggled with this because when I get stressed, ask my wife, I just immediately start picking and it drives her insane. But that is your words of wisdom for today. Check out some of these nasty nails courtesy of YouTube. You can find anything on YouTube. Oh, just so gross. I can't even watch anymore. All right, so that's your common sense lesson for today. Oh, so creepy. All right, um, we're gonna start off our academic side of today with a little geography. So if you remember last week, we just started. Actually, maybe it wasn't just. Yeah, it was last week. We started looking at the world. All right, we looked at the Earth from a global perspective. All right. We started off our exploring with the largest continent, this giant landmass that you're looking at on the screen. Is what continent? Do you remember, Jasper? Yeah, it's Asia. It's Asia. Now, um, Asia has many, many countries, like most continents. The largest country in the world is in Asia. You can see this green spot up at the top that I'm highlighting right now with my cursor. See all this up here? That is the country of Evan? Yeah, Russia. Russia's the largest country as far as land goes. It is not the most populated country, though. You'd think, oh, it's the biggest, there must be the most people, right? Wrong. Actually, the country that has the most people is in Asia as well, but it is down here. Um, so, London, do you remember what this country's called that I'm outlining right now with the cursor? It has the largest population. Correct, China. China has the most. Now, this is kind of crazy, but the continent of Asia also has the second most amount of people in this country right here. Sophie, you remember what this country is? Points out like an Indian point. like an arrowhead. Yeah, it is India. All right, so if I zoomed in a little bit, it should start telling me that it is India. A little further. There we go. So India, China, Russia, all pretty big major countries. And then part of Asia, you have a whole separate section of Asia that I'm highlighting right here with my mouse. This big section right here is called the Middle East, and it includes countries like Iran, Iraq, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, uh, Pakistan, Kazakhstan. It's all part of the Middle East. Then we didn't really talk about this too much, but you have a bunch of islands off in Asia, off the East Coast. Um, we usually call that Southeast Asia down here, which includes the Philippines, Indonesia, Singapore. Um, you've got Japan up here in Northeast Asia. And that kind of leads us right into what we talked about last time, which was the continent of Australia. Now, Australia is unique because it's not just a continent, it's also a name for a country. So, the biggest, largest country of Australia makes up most of the continent of Australia. We also talked about two other countries that are in Australia, the continent, Papua New Guinea, which is a rainforest country, and New Zealand, which is an island off the east coast of Australia. Okay? Now, let's learn about something new today. So just looking right here at my smartboard, does anyone have a guess on what continent that is? What do you think, Bobby? If you're thinking Africa, you are correct. Africa. So let me zoom out just a little bit here. So this was Australia. We talked about Asia. So I'm going west, right, to the left. Now, right after you pass the Middle East, you end up in this continent of Africa. All right, so look from a further out distance. I'm highlighting around the borders, to use a math word, the perimeter. This is all Africa. A lot of times when you hear people talk about Africa, um, they're talking about the continent of Africa, not an individual country. Okay? What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is usually we talk about individual countries, like we talk about China, or we talk about the Russians. Okay? But for some reason, whenever we talk about Africa, we don't talk about the individual countries. We usually talk about it as a continent. It's kind of unique in that way. But if I'm going to zoom in here, I want you to see that there are actually over 50 countries that make up Africa. All right, see all these names? Like South Africa, that's a country. Angola. You've got the Democratic Republic of the Congo. You might have heard of the word Congo. Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. You've got Egypt. That's one that I know you've heard of. Morocco. Um, you've got the Gold Coast. You've got Cameroon. You've got down here, you've got this island of Madagascar. These are all countries that are in the continent of Africa, just like the United States is a country in North America. Okay, so Africa is a very diverse continent. Diverse means different. There are a lot of things in Africa because it's such a big continent. I mean, look at it, it fills up the entire screen. There is the Sahara Desert. See if you can point on your screen to where you think the Sahara Desert is. Yeah, it's up here in the north. I'm highlighting it right now with my mouse. So let's go to our map right here, and I'm going to write on our map here, I'm going to write the Sahara Desert. The Sahara is the largest desert in the world? All right. Oops, I wrote desert. I'm sorry. I always do that. I do that as a joke a lot of times, and then I forget that it's not actually desert. So the Sahara Desert is the largest desert. It's in northern Africa. You can see how dry it is. All right, you see how it's brown? Okay, let's go back to my map here. And then you've got the lush green jungles of Central Africa. This is, as you can see with my mouse, this is where the equator is. So this is like the middle line of the world. And so anywhere where it's the middle line, it's known as the tropical area, the tropical region. And where it's tropical means it's warm almost all year round and there's lots of rain. So that makes sense, right? Warm, lots of rain, you've got all this green, lush area. So in the tropics, you've got the rainforests, hence all the green. And then if you start going further south, it starts to become a little less green, less vegetation. So the cool thing about Africa is you've got penguins living down here in South Africa at the bottom. You've got penguins down here. And on the same continent, you've got lions and elephants. It's kind of cool, right? You got a really diverse, different mix of animals. So let's take a look at some of the landmarks in Africa, all right? Because there's a lot. I'm going to limit it to just a few since we don't have a lot of time. But if you were to go to Africa, maybe you might want to check out Victoria Falls. Now, Lake Victoria is different than Victoria Falls. You might have heard of Lake Victoria. It's the second largest lake in the world. Myself down here. But Victoria Falls is different. Victoria Falls is a huge, massive waterfall that it almost makes Niagara Falls look tiny, honestly. So let's zoom in. So we're in the country of Zimbabwe, I believe. Yes, we are. And here are the falls. I'm highlighting my mouse over them. Maybe I can zoom in even further. Oh yeah, there you go. Now you can really see it's pretty obvious where the falls are. Let's take a person down here and check out the falls. Do we want to look at it from, let's look at it from the same side as the falls first, okay? So we're going to be looking out over top of the falls. Okay, so we're literally right at the edge of the waterfall. I'm going to zoom back out and I'm going to put a person down so we can see the falls, see the grandness that is Victoria Falls. So let me take a person here. And this looks like a good spot. What do you think? Right here in this corner? Okay, hi everybody. Hello. These are called tourists. They're here to see the falls in person, but we're looking at it virtually. Right? Incredibly big, very high, very famous. Let's see if I can. I thought I saw something about a guided tour of Victoria Falls. Yeah, let's do it. I love Google Earth. Is it going to tell me? Oh, it's just going to show me a picture. Okay, that's still cool. I like that. Let's fly here. Let's fly. Woohoo! Show me more pictures. I want to see. I guess it's not going to let me see too much more. All right, so very cool. Humongous waterfalls. Let's zoom back out here in our country. country of Zimbabwe. Then we'll zoom out even further, out into the continent of Africa. All right, so Victoria Falls, pretty cool stuff. Let's look at the other water that I want to see. The second largest lake in the world. It is the largest lake. Um, it is the largest lake though in Africa. Lake Victoria. I mean, you can see it from outer space. It is so big. Huge lake. The only lake that's bigger than Lake Victoria is in Canada, and that's Lake Superior. So we actually in America, in North America, have the largest lake. But you can see Lake Victoria is huge. It separates 3 different countries. It's a freshwater lake, very deep. And it's at the bottom of the longest river in the world. Does anyone know what the longest river in the world is? It goes, watch my cursor, it goes all the way down to Lake Victoria. The answer is the Nile River. It is huge, and it starts all the way up here in Egypt. You probably heard of the story of Moses. Do you remember how Moses' mother put him in a basket and sent him down the Nile River, and he ended up in Egypt, where he was adopted by the Pharaoh's family? So this is the Nile River. All kinds of cities off the Nile River. Now, since I'm up here in Egypt, let's look at another famous landmark, which is the Pyramids of Giza. The Pyramids of Giza is right up here in Egypt. The Egyptians built pyramids as tombs for the pharaohs. So the pharaoh was the leader, it'd be like the president kind of, and the leader would die and he wanted protection. He wanted to make sure that he could make it to the afterlife. And so he would have slaves build him a giant pyramid to protect him from evil spirits. That way he could make it into the afterlife. And they would write using hieroglyphics, like picture writing. They would write directions to get into the afterlife every day. Really, really cool. All right, I was close. I just missed it. So let's take a look at the Great Sphinx. Let's see if I can put somebody down. Oh yeah, wow, I can put, let me zoom in further. Here's the Great Sphinx. I'm just gonna put a guy down right here. See what that does. So a lot of people forget. Hi. A lot of people forget that Egypt is in Africa and the pyramids are in Egypt. So the pyramids, the Great Pyramids, are in Africa. Now, the Egyptians had a very long reign. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean the Egyptians were around for a couple thousand years, which is a long time for a civilization. They're one of the oldest civilizations as well. The Egyptians, they really They were really good at building and creating a society where that lasted for a long time. So long that these buildings are still around to this day. So look at that. Pretty cool to see a pyramid. I would love to see those in real life. Okay, let's zoom out. So out of Egypt, and now we're looking back at the continent of Africa again. Let's get out of this. Okay, where else do we want to look at? Well, how about we take a look at one of the most famous, especially if you're a Disney fan, um, parts of Africa, which is the Serengeti. Now, the Serengeti is a name for um, a region of Africa where there's all kinds of different animals. It's usually what you think about whenever you picture Africa. All right, you can see up here the picture of the elephant. There's lions. Um, this is what people think about when they think about Africa usually. Let's see if there's any spots to drop. Here's a big long section of Serengeti National Park. Let's see if we can find any animals. Looks like some huts. We're in the back of a Humvee here. But look, this is like the wild, you know? Let's see if we can find some animals. It might be too far zoomed in. I think I might be a little bit too far zoomed in. Let me zoom out here. Find center. So I'm in the Serengeti. Let me zoom in here on the Serengeti National Park. Oh, I see a giraffe. I want to see a giraffe though on the land. Let's see. Come on, baby. Give me something good. Alright, maybe. There's a bunch of dots right here on top of where it says Serengeti National Park. Maybe, just maybe, I will be able to see something wild. Oi, more huts. Oh, well. At least you get a good picture of what this is, like the jungle, what you picture in a movie. Alright, that's the Serengeti. Okay. What else? Two more things. First of all, let's take a look at Mount Kilimanjaro. Ah, there it is. So, um, Mount Kilimanjaro is what we call a dormant volcano, which means that it's not going to explode anytime soon. It's basically sleeping and it's not hot enough to explode. It is the highest mountain in Africa. Pretty cool, right? Let's see if we can drop a person down. Maybe we can even get to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. It'll be like we climbed it virtually, of course. So here's a picture of us on the land. Getting ready to climb. Oh wow, it's really foggy. We can't even see up top because it's so foggy. That happens quite frequently. When I was in Alaska, I went and I visited the largest mountain in North America, which is it used to be called Mount McKinley, and now it's called Mount Denali. But I remember the tour guide told us that it's only visible for about 7 days every year. The rest of the time it is all clouded. And of course, the day that I went, I could see about half of it, but for the most part, it was too foggy. I couldn't see the peak. All right, I'm really curious now to see. Oh, look at that. We are at the top of the mountain, and you can see the opening of the volcano. It is dormant, so it's not. We're not gonna get lava on us. Don't worry. But this is the this is where the volcano would erupt, right here, right in this hole in the middle. Really cool stuff. All right, one more landmark we're gonna check out, and that is the, I have a hard time pronouncing it. Ingaron Ngorongoro crater. So pretty much most of the things that we've been looking at, boys and girls, are in the country of Tanzania. Tanzania is a very um, rich environment. So the Ngorongoro crater, you can actually see, I'm zooming out just a little bit, you can see where the crater hit, or where the meteorite hit. All right, just a huge, huge meteorite hit um, hit the Earth and left this huge crater, and you can see the lake that it left called Lake Magadi. I've heard it called Crater Lake as well. Um, Pretty cool. Flamingos live in this lake. Very shallow and wide. Let's take a person. Let's drop ourselves right in the middle and see what it does. Right in the middle of the crater lake. What? I thought we'd get wet. We're on the edge. I wanted to be in the lake. Oh man. Okay. Well, let's zoom out a little bit. And let's take a look at, pretty sure there's a good spot. I don't know if this is it. May or may not be. I found a really good spot to look at the lake. I don't think this was it. We need to zoom out a little bit further. Trust me, boys and girls, I found a really good view of, maybe it was right, maybe it was further over, like right here. It was a very, very good view of the whole canyon. Yes, I'm feeling like this might be it. No, definitely not. Oh, that's a campsite, that's why. Whoopsies. Well, even if I can't find it, you still get the picture. This is a giant crater from a meteorite that hit the Earth a long, long time ago. Okay, so let's close out here. I'm going to zoom back out. See this island down here? Madagascar. You might have seen the movie Madagascar. This giant continent that we talked about today is called Lucas. Good, it's called Africa. The largest desert in the world is in Africa. What's it called, Patina? Yeah, it's called the Sahara Desert. You can see I labeled it on Smart Notebook. the the typical what we think about of Africa with like the lions and the tigers and the elephants, that area, which is right here with the jungle, is sometimes called the, Cody, you remember? Sometimes called the Serengeti, the Serengeti. Um, we looked at the largest mountain in Africa. Do you remember, Fish? Mount Kilimanjaro. It's kind of a weird word to say, Mount Kilimanjaro. And we also talked about the pyramids, which are found in what African country? Doobie. Yep, the country of Egypt. The longest river in the world is in Africa as well. Emily, do you remember what that river is called? Snakes all the way down from Egypt, the mouth of the Mediterranean, all the way down to Lake Victoria. Emily, it's called the Nile River. The Nile River is the longest river. All right, folks. So, congratulations. We have covered another continent. Hopefully, a little bit more familiar with our world now. I'm highlighting it. The continent of everybody. Australia. Good job. Okay, let's move on. If you want to take a break, now's the time. We are going to practice a little bit of our math multiplication, and then we're going to finish with some grammar. All right. So please get yourself a pencil, some scratch paper, or a whiteboard and a marker. Pause it right now if you need to do that. Okay, welcome back. We are, and we have been working on some 2-digit by 2 digits. So let's go over the theory of this problem right up here. I'm not going to try to multiply 36 by 72. Instead, I'm going to split this into 2 small problems, but I'm going to show all my work underneath. The 2 smaller problems that I'm splitting it into are 36 times 2, which you can see right here. And then I'm going to split it into 36 times a 7 in the tens place, which is actually worth 70. So if I split my bottom number into 70 and into 2, I'm able to solve this problem a lot easier and a lot quicker, and I can show all my work underneath. Okay, so since I'm going to show all my work underneath, I can take all of this and I can throw it in the trash. Now I can move this problem out to the middle. Let's do it, folks. First step, ignore the 7 and focus on the 2 down here. 36 times 2. We'll start by doing 6 times 2, 12, carry your 1. 3 times 2, which is 6, plus 1 at the top makes 7. So look at that, 36 times 2 is 72. Crazy, right? What a coincidence. Look at those numbers. Now, I'm focusing on my tens place. So I need to put a 0 in my ones. Biggest mistake kids make is forgetting to do that. Now let's multiply 7 times 6, 42. 7 times 3 is 21. 21 plus 4 makes 25. Good job. All right, so Willow, you're up. Let's add these up, Willow. 2 plus 0, 7 plus 2, and 5 plus nothing, 2 plus nothing, 2,592. Good job, Miss Parker. Okay, new problem. 31 times 78. What do I do first? Michael. Good. I do 8 times 1. What do I do next? Carson. Good. 8 times 3. What's 8 times 3? Nice. Wiley, what do I do next? You have to put your 0 down here. I hope you remembered that, Wiley. I'm sure you did. You're a very smart kid. Okay. Now that I've done my 0, what do I do next? Jasper. 7 times 1. Evan. 7 times 3. Okay, I'll give you a second if you're writing this at home, which I hope you are, to get caught up. All right, so London, now that I did my ones and my tens, what do I need to do? Got my ones, got my tens. I can't just give two answers to this problem, right? Exactly, I need to add them up, right, London? So 8 plus 0, 4 plus 7 is 11, so put your 1 down here and carry your other 1. 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4. And blank plus 2, there you have it, 2,418. Okay, challenge time. 416 times 328. Some of you are getting excited, I can tell, and I'm pumped. Let's take this very slow, one place value at a time. So see my blue box? I'm going to do 416 times 8. Let's do it. 6 and 8 make 48. Carry my 4. 8 and 1 make 8 plus 4 makes, got it, 12. 8 plus 4 is 32 plus 1 makes 33. Good job. Ones place is done. Now I'm going to work on my tens, which is actually a 20. So I have to take my 0, put it in the ones place. Start with 2 times 6. What do you get? 12. Carry your 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 makes 3. 2 times 4, 8. Do you see how I squiggled out that 1? It's because I don't want it to confuse me. It was from my last place value, so I don't need to add it. So, what do I do next? Anyone remember from yesterday? I need to multiply by my hundreds place. So that 3 is not worth 3, it's worth 300. So let's take my 2 zeros, put them down where I'm going to write my answer. Now it's as simple as 3 times 6. 3 times 1 makes 3, plus 1 makes 3 plus 1, 4. And what's 3 times 4, everybody? 12. I've got 3 answers. I've got ones, tens, hundreds. I have to do something with those. I can't just give 3 answers. You're right, I have to add them. Okay. 8 all the way down. 2 plus 2 is good. 3 and 3 make 6. What's 6 plus 8? 14. Now I can add 1 and 3 and get 4. 4 plus 8 is 12. 12 plus 4 is good, 16. 1 plus 2, blank plus 1. So my answer is 136,448. All right, let's end on a fun, simple one. Oh gosh, terrible handwriting. 99 times 7. See, we've been doing all these hard problems, and sometimes whenever we do hard stuff, we forget how to do the easy. What am I going to do first on this problem? What do you think? So first. 9 times 7. 9 times 7 is, Patina? 63. Now I can do 9 times 7 again. So 63 again. Why am I wrong if I put 63? Cody? Yeah, I forgot to add the 6 up top. So what's 63 plus 6? 69. So my answer is 600. 193. Okay, you can put your scrap paper away. Let's finish off with some grammar simple solutions. All right, boys and girls, choose a word that means a sign or a clue. So which one means a sign or a clue? Character, cause, or evidence? Bobby? Good. A clue is evidence. What kind of sentence do you want to write? How about the cop found blood as evidence? Bum, 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 bum. Number 2. Choose the meaning of the underlined word. The root is temp. So think about what temp. The teacher is temporary, so she will only be here for a few weeks. That's your context clue. A few weeks. Fish? Good, for a short time. Words that contain the root temp have to do with what? School, time, or work? What do you think? Do we? Good, time. Something is temporary. Or temperamental means it's going to explode quickly. Circle the noun that is the subject of this sentence, underline the object. So 2 types. You've got a subject, which comes at the beginning, and you've got an object, which comes toward the end, okay, after the verb. So, Emily, which noun, well, maybe we should just underline both nouns. No, I changed my mind. Let's just start with the subject noun. Which noun comes at the beginning of the sentence? Okay, Emily? The fireworks exploded in the sky. Good. Fireworks. That is my thing. That's a noun. It's coming at the beginning of the sentence. Okay. Now, I shouldn't have circled the word object. I should have underlined it because that's what it says to do. So let's find the word at the end, toward the end of the sentence, that is a noun, because that's going to be our object now. So after the verb, which the verb happens to be exploded, which is my noun? In, the, or sky? What do you think, Willow? Which one of those is a person, place, or thing? Great job, the sky, right? Now, bonus question. The word in is a good preposition, and the word the is an article. A, and the, 3 articles. Okay. There you go. Moving on. Michael, which possessive pronoun could replace David and Ari? So David and Ari have pet turtles. Blank turtles are in the open. Or their blank turtles are in the pen. I just gave it to you, Michael. There. All right, Carson. Choose the words to match the word observe in this sentence. To observe nature, you need to sit quietly, listen, and wait. Words. So more than one answer, probably. Give me one of them. What does observe mean? Good. Watch. Wiley, what's another one? Notice. To notice nature. Excellent job. All right. Prepositions again. This is the hardest question on our simple solutions. In order to find out prepositions, you could look at the help pages, or you could think about my definition here. A direction word. A word that tells us a direction. Okay? So, Ella put her bike on the bike rack. Which one of those words tells us where? Peyton Fisher? The word on. That's our preposition in that sentence. Where is she putting it? On the bike rack. Okay. Mason went to school with his sister. Mason went to school with his sister. Which one of those is my preposition? What do you think? Jacob? Who did he go with? Or, sorry, where with, right? The answer is with, because with is a direction to the school with direction his sister. That was more challenging than the first one. Juliet brought treats for the class. So who are the treats? For, right? The word for is the connecting word. It gives us a direction or it connects. All right, so prepositions are tricky. They're little words usually that tell us directions. Number 7, unhappy is a weak word for sadness. Miserable is a strong word for sadness. Let's put a star next to the stronger statement. Okay? My sister was cheerful for days after winning the baking contest. My sister was glad for days after winning the baking contest. Let's see. Lucas, what do you think? Which one is more powerful, cheerful or glad? I agree. Cheerful. Hence cheerleaders. Woohoo! She won the baking contest. Did your sister win? Nah, she's probably too little still. Write the verb in past tense. Beckett handled the sailboat well after only 2 lessons. Past. Think about it. Happened yesterday. Beckett's. What do you think, Jasper? Good. Handled the sailboat. Past. Ed often is the ending for past tense. All right. Choose the correct verb. Let's see. Wiley. Maya or Mia watch children play on the sliding board, or Maya watches children play on the sliding board? Yes, watches. Spelled the same way as what you'd wear on your wrist. It's called a homophone. Number 10, underline the adverbs that compare. Which one of those compares? Paul paints more skillfully than I do. So notice in the directions it says add verbs. So you're going to be underlining 2 words at least. What do you think they are? Well, adverbs tell us how or when. They oftentimes end with ly. Paul paints more skillful than I do. What do you think? Skillfully ends in an ly, and it tells us how. How does he paint? Skillfully. But there's another word that helps describe, that compares his skill. That would be the word more. So more skillfully. Remember how sometimes we have to say more or most because we can't put er at the end? So I couldn't say Paul paints skillfuler than I do. I have to use the word more skillful than I do. All right, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday, and I really hope to see you tonight at 7 p.m. It is our powwow / Kevin time on Google Meet. All right, last time we only had about 8 people show up, and for a second there, it was all girls. All right, it was all girls except for Campbell and I. So I hope to see you tonight back here on Google Classroom in our Google Meet. I'd love to hear about what you're doing. Okay, peace out. See you later.